Nothing. Podcasts.
Some true crime.
Some of those, yeah.
What do you expect from a Vancouver team that had the game that they had yesterday?
I am expecting a bounce back. You know, like this is the #1 team in the league right now, over 700 winning percentage, which is really impressive. And stingy defensive group, but yet they have a high-scoring offense and a very powerful offensive attack. So I think you look at last night's game, they played pretty good 5-on-5 really at the end of the day. They get in all that penalty trouble at the end of the second, early in the third, and it cost them a game. But as a whole, I didn't feel like their game was that bad. I think that's a one-off.
Do you like where the current state of the game is as a coach, seeing 3 hat tricks in a game, what Austin Matthews is doing, Nathan McKinnon's got 2 4-goal games? Like, as a coach, how do you? Yeah,
I don't mind it. I think it's exciting. I think you're seeing the talent and ability of players, especially certain guys, specific guys, and their ability to do it on a nightly basis. And if you're not sharp, they'll make you pay for it on any little mistake. This is the talent is overwhelming in the league. The speed of the game. The game's changing, but I think it makes it super exciting.
To kind of echo off what he said, do you gauge goalies differently given all the scoring? I mean, is the percentage kind of the same?
I think you gauge them compared to the rest of the league, right? That's what you have to do, because it is different. I think you got to, and we have numerous different goalie analytics that we look at and whatnot, and different situations that we're studying goaltenders in, and whether it's off the rush, in zone, off a lateral pass, et cetera, trying to find goalies' weaknesses and strengthen our own goaltenders in that regard. So, but I think it's like anything else, you compare it to the rest of the league.
So Connor out there, is he an option or is he still a base off?
Yeah, he's not an option today, yeah.
Coach, Vancouver is a team that has taken steps from season to season and has been kind of called one of the bigger surprises even this year. Since Rick Tocchet took over as head coach, from a coaching perspective, what have you seen him do to really mold this team into what they've become?
It's the maturity and so they've all, in my opinion, they've always been a highly dangerous offensive team with great ability to score and create off the rush, in zone, all of the above, right? They have superstar players, they're a deep team up front, you mix in guys on the back end like Roenick, Hughes, like their D helps them produce a lot of offense. The 5-man attack, that's what you have to, I think, in this day and age in the NHL. But their maturity, discipline, commitment to defend has been extremely good. He's got the buy-in of those players, obviously the detail that they need, and like if you're looking at them as a group right now, they're top 3-4 teams in the league with the defensive metrics, whether it's D-zone coverage chances that they give up or rush chances that they give up. I mean, they're dialed in. So when you get a team with that type of commitment and that type of buy-in or ability and that type of commitment and buy-in, then you got something going, and they certainly do right now.
Coach, you talk a lot about the importance of starts. But for a game like tonight, the game they had yesterday, second night of back-to-back, coming to altitude, how big are the first 40 minutes for your group? Or any bigger?
No bigger than the last 20. I mean, it was an afternoon game, #1. So, I mean, I like the fact that we're catching them on a back-to-back. Then it kind of skews back the other way because of just the way the game went yesterday. I think you're getting a really hungry, driven team. Yeah, game's got to be played. It's a good hockey team regardless.
Coach, the last game, a lot of penalties, and is that something how important is that to have that discipline in this game?
Oh, it's important. Yeah, I think every night it's important, but when you're facing a power play like Van, you got to stay disciplined. I didn't like some of the calls. I thought there was competitive hockey, but we certainly, we took some that we shouldn't have taken, and one ends up in the back of our net. It turns out to be a big goal for them at the time, so gets us playing catch-up hockey a little bit. I think discipline has to be part of your daily routine. Yeah.
Along those lines, Devontae said last game he felt like the PK needs to be better.
Yep.
He thought that the 6-on-4 at the end was something they could build on. But
yeah.
Do you feel the same way about that?
Yeah, I think if you kind of look at it in segments and different times during the season, it's been exceptional. We're getting a little leaky here recently, and they did a terrific job on the 6-on-4. And I know Prater's looked at it. He's got a little bit of a different message, making some adjustments today. We'll see how they work out, but no different than any other aspect of our game. Coaches are looking for solutions, player input, studying where we're giving up our chances, how we're giving them up, trying to correct that, hope that another area doesn't pop up where they're creating just as dangerous chances. You can't cover everybody on the penalty kill, but you certainly try to do a job of giving them the shot you want, and sort of, instead of reacting so much, just trying to steer them into the right areas of the ice that your goalie's expecting those shots and gives a better chance to make saves on them.
Last question.
Have you seen a little bit of jump in Ryan Johansson's game the past few, and is there still a level that you expect from him?
Yeah, I have. I think he's been more competitive here over the last handful of games for me. I think he's been playing with a good conscience, but you have to push yourself physically, competitively in areas in order to succeed, and I think he's done that more consistently over the last handful of games.
Okay, guys.
All right, thank you.
You just know him, you just don't do it, and I guess maybe that was one of them. I don't know. But
have you heard that one before?
I hadn't. I hadn't heard that, but I just wouldn't. I guess it just wouldn't cross my mind to do, just because.
I'm sure you're aware of the result from Vancouver, Minnesota last night. What do you expect out of a team that comes off a game like that?
I mean, we've all been in that situation, and I think you expect the best coming out of them. We know how good of a team they are, and yesterday was probably just a little bit of a one-off. But I think they might be top team in the league if I remember right. So I think we're expecting a really tough game, and we'll have to be ready.
There's always a lot of conversation on a team coming in Colorado in the second night of back-to-back with the altitude. Considering you've been there, is that something to look into, or is that overhyped?
It's a real thing. It's definitely a real thing. And so hopefully there's different things you can use to your advantage, and hopefully for us that'll be one of them tonight.
So how important is an early start with that being said?
I think for us an early start, especially in this building, is always important. And we were able to get it last game. But anytime you can get an early one and get the crowd into a little bit, that goes a long way, especially when you're playing a team that's on a back-to-back. You want to come out with a good pace.
Pretty happy celebration when Jack Johnson scored from an Olympic teammate. Did he have any involvement in you choosing Colorado?
He did not. Probably. I mean, like I was saying earlier, I don't think anyone really even knew it was on the radar. So, but he was the one guy that I did know coming in here, and he's been unbelievably helpful. Just getting me acclimated, showing me around, bringing me to the airport, just things like that are really underrated, but they go a long way for a new player.
And he said something along the lines like every team could use a Zach Parise. What do you think he brings to the locker room in terms of leadership?
I mean, he's just a good person to be around. He's got a calm demeanor. He's a good personality, and he's just such a reliable defenseman. And I think he's played great just from the short time I've seen him play here. But actually surprised me how some of the plays he's making. I think he's played really well for this team.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Mikko, there's a lot of strong players on this Vancouver team. What are some of the things that you guys are aware of in terms of going up against some of their big players tonight?
Yeah, highly offensive, or skilled offensively, I would say, their whole team, and really good power play. I think first two lines, like I said, a lot of skilled players, so we got to be really defending well, and I feel like obviously blue line, they have some weapons too. Hughes is probably the biggest one for sure. He can really skate with the puck. So defending is going to be the thing we're going to focus most with tonight.
JT, Miller, Pedersen, there's a lot of guys on their team that have put up big points this season. Are there similarities between their top guys and your team's top guys?
Maybe, yeah. You know, they have similar kind of defensemen that we have with Kale, and you know, we have, obviously we're missing some guys like Landy and Bell that would be obviously one of the best players in the league if they're healthy and stuff. But yeah, there's some similarities for sure.
Not sure if you saw their result from last night, but what do you expect from a team that had a game like that?
Well, yeah, I think they had a 3-goal lead, right, and then they got some penalty trouble. I think Mini had like 4 or 5 on threes, which I've never even heard of. So it would be nice to have one of those maybe once for us, but rarely happens in any game. But yeah, it's they're gonna bounce back for sure, and they're probably pissed off about last night letting 7 goals in the third period. You know, it's never really happened. So we could expect them to have their A game today.
There's always conversations of teams coming the second night with the altitude to struggle, right? But you guys just came back from a long road trip. Is there an adjustment back to the altitude for you guys?
Well, we had 2 days, so maybe the first practice we had after the road trip, you know, you feel a little bit more fatigue maybe with lungs and stuff. Breathing is harder, but yeah, I think what I've heard, you know, playing here as a road team from other mostly Finnish guys I've been talking to, it's not easy, you know, sometimes, especially on a back-to-back, sometimes you maybe feel more tired because of the altitude.
That being said, how important are the first period, even the second here?
Really good, really important, you know, to play, to skate, you know. I think our team, we did today in the first period for sure. We got to skate and make their D break the puck out, you know, and can't make it easy on their whole team. So I think we gotta play like we did against Arizona.
Last game there was a lot of penalties, and you know, coach talked about discipline. Is that something that you guys are trying to dial in?
Yeah, for sure. When you play against teams that have a good power play, which a lot of teams do, you know, and so just try to stay out of the box and be smart and play 5-on-5, because we're still a good 5-on-5 team, and we can really earn some penalties, you know, some power plays playing 5-on-5 and skating. So it's a goal of ours for sure.
It was the 16th comeback win of the season. It says a lot about the group's perseverance, but I'm sure there's an emphasis to keep leads, establish leads. How has that affected conversations and messaging around it?
Yeah, I think it's important. You know, we don't want to come back from every game. You know, if we try to have a lead at some point too, and hold on to the lead and get maybe first 2-3 goals. You know, that's obviously makes the game a lot easier, because then the offense or the opponent has to play more offense and try to create. So then we can make it even bigger score after that. You know, getting some odd man rushes, etc. So, but yeah, it's we try to get the lead tonight.
Do you thrive under that pressure when you guys are trailing?
Well, yeah, I think we did it last year multiple times too. You know, coming back from 2 goals down, 3 goals down, sometimes even. So, but it's not easy when you play against good teams like Vancouver. So if you get into 3-goal hole, it's not easy to come back. So we'd rather not do it.
I saw you chatting it up with Z on the ice. I guess how easy is it to, you know, be friends with him and then flip the switch to compete against him later that night?
I think it's easy. You know, you see guys. Sometimes you even go, if the schedule is right, you go dinner with guys the night before and get together a little bit and talk about all things and how they're doing currently. But I think it's pretty easy. At least for me, I feel like I have no issue turning it on and at night. So, and try to bury him maybe sometime.
It's pretty easy guy to talk trash against, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a great guy. You know, he likes to talk on the ice too, so it should be fun.
You've been playing 20-plus minutes a night now for I think 2 months. Yeah. Have you had to change anything, like training-wise, like taking more days off?
No. I'll try to. Yesterday was an optional skate, but I just stick handle and shoot. It's not very tiring on the body. But yeah, I think everyone will say it's nice to play over 20 minutes. You're in the game. You're always kind of going on, and really have time to lose that rhythm or lose that feel for the game. You're always going. How you doing?
How you doing? Hey, so Nate's on a great home streak. You know this. Have you ever had a streak like that? And when you're in that routine, what are you trying to do? I mean, you try to do everything the same? Or how do
I think it's all different for everyone. I've had routines, I had stuff like that happen in junior, but not in the NHL, so I couldn't really tell you what I would do in the NHL. But I think Nate already has a routine that he does if he gets a point or doesn't get a point. So
is it pretty impressive?
It is impressive. I think I saw Gretzky at 40, and he's the second one at 26. So every time you're around Wayne Gretzky in this kind of era that we're on now, it's special, and he's a special player.
I mean, Gretzky's every home game of
that season. I think you look at those 92 goals, all that stuff. Every time you're around Wayne Gretzky for any kind of record, especially in the day and age of this hockey game, and I think it's a great accomplishment, and it's very cool.
Hey, are there a lot of unwritten rules in hockey?
Yeah, there is.
Are there?
Some, yeah.
Like what? What's one?
Yeah, you probably don't take a run. You probably don't take a run at a star player or stuff like that. Or have someone probably come see you next shift or stuff like that. It's hard to think. It's almost when they happen in the game, you're like, yeah, that's an unwritten rule. But it's hard to think about them like out of my head.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
No problem.